Yeah, I don't.
What's like the craziest house party you guys have been to?
Okay.
Oh, God.
I've got like two, and they were both in university. Because of course they were.
Yeah, of course they were.
Do you have one?
I mean, I can only really think of like.
I have one. If you want me to go first.
There's a lot of like poop stories, but I'm like.
More poop.
Yeah.
No!
Oh, this is where the poop stories are coming
Yeah,
out.
all of my poop stories come from house parties.
Yeah.
What? Who's what?
Like, okay, so in Australia, oh my god, now that I think about it, this was fucking disgusting. But
Oh no.
Oh no.
but do you know what a shoey is?
That's where you do the beer out of the shoe.
Yeah,
Right?
so
Yeah.
it's this thing
Sounds
that's very
horrible.
typical in Australia because there's nothing else to
Why
fucking
is this
do.
typical in Australia?
Typical house party
The
shit you do
local
in
cuisine.
Australia. Yeah. The local cuisine, the shoey. But essentially what it is it's kind of like shotgunning in America, right? Where shotgunning is like, you know, if someone's holding a can of beer, they're like, oh, shotgun it. So you poke a hole on the side and then you kind of drink it, the whole thing like this. Shoey is that, but way grosser. You say, hey, do a shoey. And then you go around. The tradition is you go around and find whoever has the dirtiest fucking shoe.
Oh.
It's not just any shoe. It's whoever has the dirty shoe. It's either you do your own shoe or you pick whoever's the
This
dirtiest
is
shoe.
already starting horribly.
And then you grab their shoe, you pour the can of beer into their shoe, and then you drink the beer from their shoe. And that's a shoey.
Disgusting. That's
And I mean, it's not that exciting of a story, but my friend did a shoey once, and he got his friend's shoe, and he didn't realize until after he finished the shoey that he had stepped on his dog's shit.
so he had like a firm grasp.
He had a firm grasp of it, and he finished it, and he's like, he flipped it over, and he just saw like shit just smeared on the shoe.
Disgusting.
And like normal people will be like, oh, what the fuck? But because he was already so hammered, he's just like, yeah. And everyone was like, yeah. It's fucking nasty. That's the only thing really. And then other than that, it's just like a lot of like vomit stories, you know, the usual that you hear at house parties.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that was probably the grossest,
God, that's
but also the most hilarious.
Oh my god. What about you, Colin? What's the
I mean, I've been to like a few crazy house parties. I think most of the crazy house parties I've been to has been in Brighton.
Yeah.
So that's for like my hometown. There are some parties that are just like, kind of like, you know that scene from American Pie?
Yeah.
Where you see that scene, you're like, there's no way that exists in real life. There's no way this crazy shit's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been to a few parties where it was actually that crazy. So I remember one time where there was this party who we'd heard from a friend who heard from another friend who heard from another friend. No, that kind of thing. That
Sounds
there
like a beating to a horror
that
story.
there was a party happening in the middle of this field.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, there's no fucking way this is true. So we had to drive into the middle of fucking nowhere, and I was like, this is a scam. We're gonna drive there, and there's just gonna be like. It's just gonna be like a drug dealer den, or this is gonna be like we're gonna get fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And so we drive to the middle of this field, and this, keep in mind, this is all pitch black because it's like the middle of the countryside where we were driving to, so we couldn't see shit. And then we go there, and it was basically like a festival. Somehow they had managed to, because this guy who had owned the farm, right, had just told a few of his mates that he was gonna have a party.
Right.
And then mates started telling mates, and then
That's always the worst.
yeah, I don't know how it spread so wide,
Yeah.
right?
Jesus.
But I feel like it's because no one else was having a party that weekend, and people were just egging, like people were just really wanted to go somewhere.
Party here, lads.
I need to do a party.
And yeah, somehow there was a fucking festival, and then things started getting weird. They started setting things on fire, right? So they went into his house, right? And then they took out this sofa, and somebody thought it would be a fun idea to just start burning stuff. So it started off.
Why is there always one person who wants to burn?
I don't know. There's always one fucking pyromaniac, right? And so first it starts with a chair. So they get a chair out. Right. And I'm like, okay, let's set this on fire. And it's like fucking caveman mode activates. Like whenever you start a fire, for some reason, like you see fire, and then you're like, oh, fire. And then like you start fucking dancing around it, like, oh, fire. It's I don't know why. Whenever there's a fire in like a house party and there's alcohol involved, you just forget, the lizard brain just takes over, and you just like circle it and just watch it.
Yeah.
And then so they burn the chair down, and they were like, what can we do next? What can we do next?
no.
Next, let's get a table. So out of nowhere,
Just take this guy's whole fucking IKEA collection. Like, Jesus Christ.
so then they take a table, they set that on fire. Then as that's on fire, a fucking sofa appears out of nowhere, and then they fucking just chuck the sofa in.
Oh my
And
God.
then we were just like, at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, man, the host must feel so fucking shit. Like, I don't know where he is. Probably plastered out his mind.
All my furniture is getting burned.
And then as the sofa is on fire, we actually see the host just walk out, and he just looks at his sofa and like his fucking IKEA furniture collection that's on fire, and just goes, yeah!
What if, right? What if all along he planned this out, right? Because in the UK, if you want to get rid of stuff like that, you got to pay a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe this was all a ploy just so he could get new sofas and chairs and not pay to remove his old ones.
Yeah.
There's always also that
big
one
brain.
guy in any kind of situation like that where something's put on fire, where they're like holding an alcoholic beverage and they're like, I wonder what happens if I pour it on. It's like, this will probably put it out, right? It just makes the flame bigger. It's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Every
God.
time. Every fucking
Animals,
time.
animals.
Yeah, fucking caveman.
There was so you know how I said I lived in like a student village?
Yeah.
It was, like
Yeah.
it was basically a whole area that was just houses, and they had also two really big like apartment blocks, and they were disgusting. They were like the cheapest apartment blocks you can imagine. And one time, this doesn't exist anymore. This place, they tore it all down. So yeah, Swansea Student Village, R.I.P. They said like, oh yeah, there's going to be a party at one of the apartment buildings. They didn't say which floor or anything, so I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then we turn up, and like half of this apartment building, there's like bin bags on all the windows,
Right.
and stuff. And then you start going into this building, and it's like been turned into like the set of The Raid. Like there's just shit everywhere. Like there's mattresses on the floor and shit, like
Yeah.
all over the place. And some of the rooms are open and have like nothing left in them. And I'm
Right.
like, what the fuck? And meanwhile, everyone is like drunk as fuck. There's like people doing drugs in certain places.
Yeah.
People in the kitchen. There's always that one guy who's in the kitchen making food for some reason at all these parties. Like this building is literally like falling apart, and one guy's still in
I
there.
want a
Yeah.
pizza pocket.
Yeah, anyone any beans? Any beans for anyone? It was just weird. And it was like, the further up you went, the like more mess it was. And I remember going to one floor, and there was just like beds all over it, and people lying down. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? That was just weird. And then I just didn't enjoy it, because I'm like, what is this?
Wait. So what was was it like an orgy floor or like what?
I didn't
How did you
stay
get
long
invited
enough.
to this party?
It was one of those things where everyone knew it was happening in the village,
Yeah.
apparently. So we all just turned
In
up.
the village.
Word around the village is that this building.
And I was like, why did you put I remember I asked one of the guys, like, why they put bin bags on the windows? And they were like, oh, so they can't see what's going on inside. And I'm like, who? Who can't see? Because I think putting blacking out all the windows is suspicious.
giving it away, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And also a bunch of people migrating towards this one thing. They completely fucked it, though. I don't know what happened to it or how this was even possible. I'm sure one of my
I
universities...
mean, the fact that it's gone now is probably
Yeah,
telling,
yeah,
right?
true. And then there was another party, which is really weird. And it was a house party, like just a normal house. And it had a bouncer, which I thought was really weird when
At
I
a
went
house.
in. At a house party. And I
Boy,
went
it
in-
was fucking loaded.
Right. So it was a 3-story house, not that
Right.
big, but I thought, wow, this is fucking weird. There's a bouncer and he had a list. And I said my name, he's like, you're on the list. And I'm like, when did I get put on the list?
What is this list?
Yeah, I was like, who's arranging this list? Because my friend invited me, so he must have put me on the list. And then I got inside. The first floor just is like a big living room, just has one small couch in the corner, and like 100 people just standing around this like very average looking laminated like wood floor. Just
Yeah,
the people
yeah,
just
yeah.
standing around. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is there a bouncer? And then you go up the floors and it starts to get weird.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
of
yeah.
course it does whenever you go up floors in these weird house parties.
Yeah.
I remember I found out that I asked my friend, he was like, oh yeah, I paid the bouncer like £300 just for tonight. And I'm like,
Why? Why?
What would you expect to happen?
are you that worried? And then, okay, to be fair, and then I realized why he was that worried, because the second floor was just people having sex.
Of course.
That's actually pretty standard.
That's
isn't
pretty
it?
standard. That's pretty
Like,
standard.
yeah.
I was like, whatever. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to chill. Because the bottom floor was just really loud. And I was like, maybe I want to go to the floor where people are just chatting.
Yeah.
Right? So I go to the third floor. And that's where it gets really fucking weird. Because one of the rooms is like, what I thought it was like 5 beds, 2 bunk beds. And instead, they've just put all the mattresses on the floor. I don't know why people are doing this.
Yeah.
All the mattresses were on the floor, and like people were making out, and one of them had like was doing like a needle. I don't know what he was doing, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is weird. This is really fucking weird.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
not going here." And so I was like, I asked my friend, I'm like, "There's got to be somewhere else we can go. I do not want to stay here. There is someone doing what I think is heroin upstairs. Like,
Yeah.
can we not do this?
Yeah.
University is a mess.
Jesus Christ. I never had any like that. Because
No.
I hung out with good Christian boys.
Well, no, so do I. But sometimes you go to a party, right? Because you hear about a party, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what it's going to be like till you get there.
Yeah.
Until you see someone doing like hardcore drugs upstairs, and you're like, I'm not supposed to be here. I don't do this.
I need to go to church.
Yeah, with the house parties, the more stairs you go up, it's like the closer you get to hell. It's like the steps towards hell.
It's literally the raid.
It's like the opposite, right? It's like the further up you go, the closer you get to hell.
It's awful because I mean you have no way of knowing in the UK what the party's going to be like until you
Yeah.
get there. And
Yeah.
if your friend's like dead set on going, you're like, all right, fine.
Because I've been to as many like dud parties where you go to and it's like, this isn't a party, this is a house gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like prettied up with prettied up
Right,
alcohol.
right. You
I don't
never know. A party could mean like a come dine with me, 4 people making dinner for each other
Yeah.
experience, or it could be, you know, a fucking orgy going on upstairs. You don't know until you get there.
Jesus Christ.
No one knows. My parents are probably terrified. They're like, what was Connor doing in university? I was not doing anything, mother. I was just, you happen to go to places and they fucked up.
It was like the crazy. I actually got recognized last week as well. In the last week,
Right.
it's
God
a bit.
damn, calm down. Man.
It's
Yeah,
a
wow.
bit. It's a bit of an awkward story though, and what's awkward about it is the guy mentions that he watches Trash Taste every week. So
Really?
Yeah. So I'm about to tell the story, and hello, guy who's probably watching
He's
this.
probably shitting his pants right now. It's like, that's me.
because it was a bit of an awkward experience. I'm not gonna lie. Like, and the thing is, I'm probably gonna see this guy again in the future because. Okay, so where I met this guy was at an anime bar in Akihabara. So I went to this anime bar in Akihabara, and it was a really, really cool bar, but it was like kind of small, right? I can't remember the name of it. I think Maylin was the one who told me about it, but I remember that I went in there, and immediately one guy recognizes me, and I didn't see that. Maylin saw that.
Japanese guy or a Western guy?
We thought he was Japanese, but he was like Californian.
California. Okay, yeah.
And like you know when you get recognized and it's just like that look.
Oh,
where
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
It's like the triple take, right? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Man, I haven't had that one that aggressive. Jesus, it's fine.
No, but like like when you're at an anime convention, you're just like the, and like they're like debating about whether they should say hello for like the next like 5 minutes. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wait,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
Just
standing
come,
there.
just come.
Yeah.
And like if that ever happens, just come now.
I'm so sorry that we always reference that. It's just you can't stop fucking laughing at that shit. Anyway, go on.
Anyway.
So we're sitting at the bar, and the waiter comes up to us and he goes, do you mind if that guy says hello to you? Apparently he knows you from some way. And I'm like, yeah,
The
sure.
waiter did this.
Yeah, the waiter did.
Oh,
this.
wow, like fucking romance thing? Like,
No, so I think he asked the waiter, and so he comes says hello, and we have like a nice friendly chat. You know, it was a friendly chat. He seemed like a friendly guy,
Right.
But you know, it wasn't anything more than that. It was just like, oh, you know, what are you doing here? Do you work here? Do you live here?
Just the casual
just
banter,
the
right?
casual
Yeah.
small talk. You know, didn't seem like that weird or anything.
Right.
But so we you know. We go back to our tables and we just, you know, carry on the night. And that was like my last interaction with him.
Right.
Right. And so as we're leaving, the bar's closed early because of, you know, Corona and everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, everywhere closes early in Tokyo now. So we're going out and we go down the lift, and just as he's about to get in the lift is kind of like full. So it's just like our group, and we go down the lift, and we have no idea where we're about to go, right?
Right.
Because we're like, oh, is anywhere even open right now?
Yeah.
And one person says that there's like a karaoke place right next to the bar.
Right.
That is like anime themed, and
Oh.
that sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So we go to this karaoke themed sorry, this anime themed karaoke, and we get the Ava room, and it's such an awesome room. I got to tell you,
we gotta go there.
I got to take you guys there sometime.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we're chilling in there for like a good like 10 minutes, just like choosing our beers, getting some food, and picking our songs. And then one of the waiter comes in and brings in like an extra towel, which if you've ever been to like a Japanese establishment, when you come in you get like the wet towels.
Oh yeah.
Everyone gets like a wet towel for like how many people there are.
Yeah.
So we start asking, oh, did someone order an extra towel or something? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then the guy just waltzes in and goes like, boys, can I join you? And so I look around and I'm like, okay, he was talking to someone else in the group at the time. So I look at him to be like, did you invite him? Because I didn't invite him. Sydney didn't invite him. Malin didn't invite him, I don't think. So it must have been you. And I just saw like the look of confusion on his face. And I just immediately,
it wasn't me.
and I was just immediately like, oh, okay, no one invited him. Okay. How the fuck did he know that we were in this specific room when we didn't even know we were in this specific room?
So creepy. That only just means then that he followed you guys.
Yeah, but I don't know how he followed us, because as we walked to the karaoke place.
Right.
And so we didn't know we were going to the karaoke place until after we'd gotten out of the bar.
Okay.
And he wasn't there behind us. So apparently, like, he said that he knows everyone in the place. He's a regular.
Right.
And so somehow he found out we were in this specific room. And he, apparently he just thought he could just join us.
Right.
If you're watching this guy, which you probably are,
As a fan of Trash Taste.
as a fan of Trash Taste, this is totally a call out, because as I'm probably going to be in that area.
You're gonna say it now.
I'm gonna say this now as the same as I'm gonna say it probably next time I come to you, bruh. Like, that was pretty creepy. like if we had interacted more, I would have been like totally fine. If we had like invited you, or if you had like. If you were like talk to us beforehand, but the fact that you just showed up like unannounced, and we didn't know how you knew where we were. Like, we didn't even know we were gonna be there. So I don't know what you were expecting.
Yeah. I'd like to think that he was expecting, like, the moment he come in the room, you all just like turn around, like, welcome, you did it, you did it, congratulations, join us, you found us, you solved the mystery, you can now join us. Like,
You have unlocked the secret ending. Please enjoy.
okay. I mean, it's at like conventions there as well, right? People do that all the time. It's
Yeah.
like, I remember I was with Emerichu at a con, and Emily comes up to me because we were hanging out the whole con because we didn't really know anyone, and there's just two guys with her. She's like, "We getting lunch, Connor?" I'm like, "Yeah, who are those two?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "What are they doing?" And they're like, "They asked if they could join us for lunch." I'm like, "Do you want them to?" And she's like, "Not really." And I was like, all right, okay. And then I was like, hey guys, we don't really know you. We're gonna get lunch. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel
because some people like
how'd you
don't
guys
want to be the asshole.
Yeah, like, how'd you guys handle that? Because
I just straight up tell them, I'm like, hey man, I don't know who you are. I'm gonna.
There's really no nice way of saying that, unfortunately. You just have to. I mean, and I can tell that sometimes when people do that, they don't mean it in like a creepy.
A
or
lot of them just they've met who might be someone they really look up to.
Right.
And
Right.
this is their one chance to socialize with them,
Yeah.
and they maybe don't really think about, hey, it might be a little weird if you just kind of like follow someone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to feel like I'm a pretty open guy in terms of like social situations.
I'm definitely happy
and like
to meet people.
I've like had plenty of situations where we're at like a social gathering or a party, and then we join someone else's
And someone's
karaoke
cool
room.
and you're like, hey man, come on.
Yeah, but there are like several steps that you have to take before both parties are like mutually comfortable with something like that.
Right.
Which is this is equally a message to like everyone at conventions and everything like that, because I'm sure we have like a lot of different stories of just like awkward social situations where you don't really know people and they kind of just invite themselves into your group.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be the same whether we're famous or like not.
No, yeah, it's just like
it's
general
like
social
Yeah.
skills.
I think my absolute pet peeve, though, more than that, is because, like, at least with people who try and, get a little too social with us or, whoever they admire, right, and try and sneak themselves into our friend group or whatever, is that at least you can just straight up be like, okay, I'm not cool with this or whatever. Like you
Yeah.
can directly do something about it, right?
Yeah.
What I find worse than that, and this is sometimes at conventions, this is sometimes just out in public, is when they take a photo of you from a distance.
Oh yeah, that's
And then they tag you either on Twitter or Instagram being like, I saw Joey at blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it's like paparazzi. It's like, it's
Yeah.
so, like I had one, I forgot where it was. It was some con in the US, but we were nowhere near the con. And we were just hanging out at some mall because
Yeah.
we had already finished all our panels and whatever. We were just hanging out with a couple of my friends. And then, it was fine. We ran into like maybe like 2 or 3 people, but
Yeah.
whatever. Like they came up to us and said hello and whatnot. And then I went back to the hotel and I was just checking through Twitter. And then I saw this photo of me, but it looked like I was on the ground floor. And you know how some malls, they have like a big,
Yeah,
like
the open top, right,
thing?
right.
yeah.
It looked like someone had taken a photo of Aki and I from like the 5th floor. And it was this
Enhance.
real.
Enhance.
Yeah, no, we didn't even have to enhance because they drew a red circle around us.
Hey man, they made the thumbnail for
Yeah, they
you.
made the thumbnail for me. They drew a red circle around us and being like, I saw Aki and Joey at so and so mall.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's fucking terrifying. Jesus Christ. Like, just, if he saw us, then just like, it would have been less embarrassing and less creepy if they had just fucking shouted my name from the 5th floor, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then at least I would know that they're there. But they were like, I can't let them see me. Like, why? Why would you do that? It's just like, I get it,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes people are nervous. I know they tweet at me.
I
sometimes.
get that
Yeah.
they're nervous, right?
Yeah.
But there's a difference between being nervous and being creepy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand. Like, I try to be as, like, understandable as I can with,
No,
like,
of course,
with,
like,
like, people being nervous.
I didn't scold them or anything, right?
Oh,
Like, I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
call them out on Twitter or whatever because it's happened more than once. But
Yeah.
every time I see stuff like that, and thankfully it hasn't happened in a long, long, long time.
Mm.
But every now and then when stuff like that does pop up on my Instagram or Twitter or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, come on. Like, just you were literally, you took a photo of me. There was another one when I was back home in Sydney.
Right.
And I was just like walking, I think I was walking around with my sister or something.
Yeah.
And someone had taken a photo of me from behind, but it wasn't from like even that much of a distance. It was literally like
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
had
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I've had that. Yeah.
right? And I was just like, that's fucking terrifying. Because if I had turned around at that moment,
Right.
I don't know what they would have done.
Yeah.
Would they have just stood there like Mike Wazowski, like, I wasn't taking a photo, I swear. Bye.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people can just talk to me whenever. Like, I might
Yeah.
like look at them blankly for a second as
Yeah.
I realize what's happening. But
Yeah.
I mean, you
But
can
if you're
always come
that
up
close to me
Yeah,
to
yeah,
take
just
a
talk
photo,
to me,
just
talk to
come
me.
up to me.
Just like,
I want to talk to people.
I like
Yeah.
talking to people as
Yeah.
well. As long as you just come on in like a nice
Yeah.
friendly way.
As long
That's-
as you don't come up to me and like grill the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. Just come up to me. Like, but that's the thing though, right? I think a lot of people don't like to come up to YouTubers or whoever they admire because it's their private time currently.
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a
Unless
shit.
I'm like eating at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like if I'm sitting down clearly eating,
Yeah.
don't.
You've
or,
said that. all the time,
or if
mate.
I'm in like a private karaoke room, for example, that's
At my house, you know. If I'm walking around in public, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Same here. I love that conversation.
So there's a PSA, right? If there are any Trash Guys fans and you see any of us out on the streets wherever, just come up to us. Just come up to us.
If it's an awkward situation, we're just probably gonna tell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it up.
If you don't want to be called out on the podcast.
I'm kidding. There's like 100 awkward interactions.
Yeah. I actually got recognized. It's like, have you guys had any creepy experiences with people or
yeah.
fans at
Yeah,
conventions?
well, absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course I am.
Because I'd say like the moment when I stopped, like where I had to like really pay attention to who I was hanging out with was because of this one convention I went to. I think it was like 3-4 years ago. I can't remember exactly how many years it's been, but it was like my first proper creepy stalker experience. So
Sounds like a YouTube title.
yeah, exactly. So,
Why are you wasting this on the podcast?
just like I can draw my life. Yeah, I was at this convention and there was like a communal area. And no, like at conventions, what I like doing at conventions is meeting random people.
Same,
Meeting
right.
fans, talking working with people. And the thing is, I've met like a lot of my closest friends. I've met through conventions. Like our friend group in England, 90% of those people were people who I met at conventions or who were fans of me. So that's why I had always tried to, like, you know, be as open as possible, no matter who it was. And I feel like this was the point when I realized, hey, maybe my reach is a little bigger than, you know, what I'm comfortable with, because I was with, you know, hanging out with this random group of people, and it was me and Sydney, and we were having a great time. We were just chatting shit about anime and other shit in like the middle of this convention hall, and then it was like, you know, it was time to just disperse and go our own ways. Right. So me and Sydney start walking back to our hotel rooms, and everyone else goes their own ways. And then this one kid starts walking the same direction with us. Right?
Oh God, is it the same guy from Akihabara?
No, it's not the same guy. Yeah. Compared to the guy in Akihabara, the guy in Akihabara was like a fucking saint. So this kid follows us. And I ask, and so I was trying to be polite to be like, oh, where are you staying? And he was like, oh, I'm staying in the same hotel as you guys. Now, keep in mind, you know, I talked with the kid, you know, quite a bit, you know, when we hang out in a group.
Oh, so you thought it was plausible that you told him your hotel?
Yeah. It's and I was, you know, I wasn't wasted, but I was, you know, I had a few drinks in me, and I was feeling friendly, so I was like, whatever, just making casual chit chat, and he seemed normal enough, you know. It didn't seem like a creep or anything like that. Right. And so we go back, we go to our hotel, and then we get in the lift, and then he goes in the lift with us, and we're like, oh, what floor are you? Sorry. So we get in the lift, and I hit my floor, and I ask, oh, what floor are you? And he goes, oh, it's the same floor as you. Oh no. And not at this point, nothing clicked in my mind. Right? Not because I was so innocent at that point. I was
there's lots of rooms in that floor too.
And both me and Sydney were like, oh, what a coincidence, you know. Oh, we're on the same floor. Well, that's a huge coincidence. Right. At this point, I'm just like, no, I just want to go to my bed and sleep. I'm way too tired. So I'm like, yeah, cool. That's a huge coincidence. So we go up to the floor, and then. So I go in first. I go to my room first, and Sydney's just a bit behind me because I'm tired as fuck. I just want to get to my hotel room, and so I go to the door, put my key in, I turn around, and the kid's still there, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And he straight up tells me, oh no, I just completely lied. I just wanted to see where you were staying, and like I'm like, what the fuck do I say to this? And then apparently, when I wasn't looking, before I had asked that, he tried to go in for a kiss with Sydney, and Sydney told me this after we had got in our hotel room.